Hello everybody, welcome back to X-Plane10, and today we're once again in the IXEG 737, and we have the American Airlines livery on it today, but we're not doing a full flight. We are doing a tutorial on how to start and an FMC tutorial as well. So I'll be showing you how to do that, the cold and dark procedures, and let's go ahead and get in the cockpit. Oops. So you can see everything is cold and dark, everything's turned off. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to the overhead, and I have a checklist that I have already printed out. Also, there is a checklist that you can use that's right there, so you can see it just sitting from here. You can just click on it, but anyway, I have my own checklist. So the first thing you're going to want to do is turn on the battery and guard it. Next, of course, first thing that I do is turn on the fasten seatbelt signs after that, and if you click right here to GRD call, you can either also go to ground services, but easier to just do it from here, and it makes noise. You can hear it, and what you do is you click the ground power, and then you click ground air supply, so you can turn off your engine bleeds right here, just next to the APU bleed on the air conditioning area panel, and the ground power says it's available, so you pull it down and you'll see your duct pressure rise as well as your AC volts. So your duct pressure rises, so you can go and turn on both your packs to automatic. So there we go. Next thing I recommend doing is turning on the recirculation fan, and from here on, now that I have the airplane powered up, I can go ahead and start using my checklist. So cockpit preparation, that's what I just did. Light test, so let's go ahead and check our lights. What you do is you come right here just above this other artificial horizon and you flick them up. Just check everything. See, all of our lights look good here. And we're good. We can go ahead and put out the master caution if you want. Now we're going to check our fire bell, which does work. And you can do the exact same thing on the other side. Alright, so lights are checked and good. Now, I do recommend doing this now instead of later. You can flip your IRS position switches to nav. You just hold them on a line and flick them nav, and they should go to a line after on DC. There you go. And if it's nighttime, you can switch the dome light on right here. So, that's our flight recorder, the black box. And so I'm gonna go and do it now. I have view presets that I have made myself. IXEG also has them here that they made for you. So you go to FMC, position initial, and whatever airport you're at. I'm at Los Angeles. I'm doing an IFR to San Francisco International. So KLAX is the ICAO code. So there you go. You have it. Now you can copy. You just click the bumper right next to your IRS position, and you click paste right there on the boxes. And then the ATT and the map and everything will show up. You'll actually see everything, so your IRS position will be aligned. Now you can go ahead and add fuel if you need fuel. I'm not needing fuel right now. I'm pretty good. I could use a little fuel, but I'm not actually going to do the full flight. I'm just doing a tutorial. So, next thing is the yaw damper. You'll have to turn it back on later as well. The fuel, check pumps on. I'm not turning them on yet until I start the APU. Let's see here. Galley power on. Our galley is right here by the AC and DC. Next is the emergency exit lights. You don't have to drag them like this. They're going to be off, so you can just click the guard and it'll put them to armed. It'll arm them. So you're good there. Or, yeah, you just click the guard. Okay, I was making sure I said that right. Passenger signs are already on. Window heat. Window heat is just right here to the right side of the AC volts. And you can also turn on your pedostatics right now. Or your probe heat, some people may say. Hydraulics, normal. Well, we can actually leave the electrics off for now, because we don't need our flight controls or anything until we push back. So we turn those on just before we push back. Next is the air conditioning and pressurization. Packs and bleeds are set. Well, actually, pressurization is not set. So we're going to cruise at flight level 330. So you're going to set to the flight altitude to 330. Now, do not ask me how to do the cabin altitude. All I know is landing altitude, so I'm going to use SimBrief. That's what I always use for my flight plans. You can see it right here. So I'm just going to hover over Los Angeles right there. And altitude, it says 128 feet. No, that's Los Angeles. I need San Francisco. Just do the one where you're going. So that's our arrival airport, 13 feet. 13 feet. So we can set this down to 13. Looks about good. And our pressurization is set. I don't know about the cabin altitude though, so that's not a question for me. If anybody knows how to do that, please let me know in the comments below. So the autopilots, we have those disengaged. Auto brake, we just come right here. And it's just under the flaps next to the gear handle. Switch them to RTO, which stands for rejected takeoff. In case of a rejected takeoff, it will automatically deploy the spoilers for you. Speed brake is down at detent. Parking brake is set. Radios and transponder are set because we're not using them right now. Because we don't need them, we're not on VATSIM. Rudder and aileron trim, we'll check those. 0 and 0, and they are free. So papers, FMC, CDU, instruments, and FMS speeds all X-checked. So now we can come down to the FMS. So what you're going to want to do from position initial is go to route, and it will automatically put Los Angeles there, your arrival or your departure airport. Sorry, KSFO. Put your destination in there. And if you have a company route already in there, you can just type the name of it, whatever you saved it as. So we'll be departing from 25 left. That should be your departure runways where what you put there. And your flight number, so AAL, American Airlines, flight 227. And we can go to next page, which all we have is the RZS and the Surfer. I don't think it's gonna find it. Surfer. Nope, I didn't think so. It's a different AIRAC. That's AIRAC 1503, and we really do AIRAC 1602. I think this airplane has 1603. Oh, it's 1509. I did not know that. That's strange. So anyway, you can update them on SimBrief and we'll fix them for you. But I'm not gonna do the whole route. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to go to your departure, and I'm doing the Chatty 2 departure with the RZS transition, departing from runway 25 left, which it's not giving me that. So you'll select your departure runway from right here, and it actually wants me to depart from 7 left, so that's fine by me. So it'll change it in there if you set it wrong. And then your arrival. So you want to select your runway, which would obviously be 28 left or right, so probably 28 right, min low, and anything, really whatever SimBrief gives you or any other program you may use. So anyway, you can go to the initial reference page, and then you can go to index, and you'll see right here. So what you're going to want to do is to go to PERF, performance page is what that stands for. So now, this is the easy part. You're going to want to go to ground services again, and then you want to look in your bottom and kind of middle, 100.4 for our gross weight, 100.4 is where you find that, and it'll put it in there for you. If you even get it 1 off, I'm pretty sure it'll mess it up. So anyway, reserves, we don't really have any reserves right now, but we'll just do 1. And a cost index, I always use 35. Cruise altitude, flight level 330. And if you do not have, if you don't have your altitude bug set higher than your current altitude, then it will say it'll say something funky that, it doesn't like it. So we're going to want to go to N1 limit, which is also right here. And you can do, if you're really heavy, I prefer the 20K, but you can do the 18.5D rate if you're light, like I am right now. So you're good. And I always do the standard climb, and that'll give you 88.1 N1, which will change it on here to takeoff, and it'll give your N1 set. And if you want a custom N1, you can pull and set it automatically, but I'm not doing that. Anyway, on to the takeoff page. Now it's automatic flaps 5, and your ground services will tell you elevator trim 3.6 units. Your FMS always tells you 3.4, so I meet it in the middle at 3.5. So I'm going to go ahead and set my elevator trim right now. There I have a button programmed. You can also do that. You can come right here. No, they don't have that yet. Anyway, you can turn it yourself manually. But just make sure it's at the proper place. 3.5. So we're good there. And our FMS. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to complete your pre-flight check, is what they call it. So you just click, 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 and now your V speeds will be put into here. You can see V1 is 121. Oh, excuse me. And it will also tell you that's your V1, V2, no, V1, VR, V2, and then you have flaps 2, flaps up, or something like that. So that's the way you do that, and you can move them, but that's where it put them, so that's where I'm going to leave them. Just get familiar with the airplane. It's pretty simple. So anyway, next, doors, air conditioning and packs, start pressure, PSI, anti-collision lights on. That is for startup, so anti-collision light on, position on, and hydraulics on. We can go ahead and turn on all of our fuel pumps. Please, please, please remember this. You do not want to run a pump dry. Check and make sure you have fuel in your center pumps before you actually turn on your center fuel pumps. So now that you have fuel going, you can check your crossfeed valve if you want. You can just check it, say valve open. You don't have to leave that on. APU on, and then start. You hold it for roughly 5 seconds. Low oil pressure will come on just above the APU EGT, which I'll show you in just a second. Once the low oil pressure light goes out, you can let go. So this is your low oil pressure light for the APU, and that's your EGT right there. And your EGT will go up to about 8, and then it will rise back down to 6, and then you'll see the APU bus generators come on. So once that happens, you can connect to the, I'll show you. Oh, it goes up to 6 and drops. So now we'll select these down. We'll just pull them down, make sure the generators are off. It's not like it would do anything. And we can disconnect from, or turn off ground power, disconnect from ground power unit, light goes out, and the ground air supply. Now your duct pressure goes down, so turn on your APU bleed, which is right here. That is required for start. Your airplane will not start if the APU bleed is off. So what we can do is get a pushback, and you see right here, that is set in there. You can change your range. Now what I did not do is you go back to root after that, and you click activate, execute, and then you can go to your legs and delete vectors. Make sure you delete the vectors. The vectors always mess you up, I promise. And then you look for discontinuities, which there's one at min-low, so you copy and paste, and then execute, and you're all good. It's amazing the way it works. So now, you can go to plan mode, and then you can step, and then make sure that your flight plan is all good. You can step, and make sure that, everything is good, like I just said. So now I like to, on my departures, I love to keep it on the center map, or CTR map. I'm not sure how you really pronounce that. When you land, you can set your minimums. I keep mine about 200 to 245. And once you're in the air and out of your departure, you can go back to map, which is the arc mode if you're used to Airbus. So you can turn on your TCAS, which you can't do yet, but you can turn on your WXR radar, and then you flip the WX, and you'll see it'll start scanning. There it is. Anyway, let's go ahead and get a pushback. So we'll do nose, just check your surroundings and everything. We want to go nose, let's see. We want the nose to go left. So we're going to release our parking brake. And the tow should start. There it goes. Now, what you can do, during the pushback, you can start your engines. I prefer you don't, because it might be a little too much for you if you're just beginning in this airplane. Which I always start them during the pushback. Start engine 2 first, always, and then engine 1, which I'll show you how to do. So it's going to push back, push the nose left. We'll start turning. There it goes. You can of course stay in the cockpit view. You don't have to do anything, it automatically goes. You actually can't do anything. Okay. Keep on moving. And you can actually move your lights around if you want. Not sure if it'll actually move your lights on where it shines, but this is to talk to your passengers. It's on PA right now. It should be on VHF, but it doesn't really matter. VATSIM or any other ATC will always be able to hear you. What you have to do, stop it. You can't really stop it any other way that I have found yet. I just tap the brakes, tap the toe brakes, and set the parking brake when it stops. So now we're good. We're stopped, and we pushed back. And now that we are on an active taxiway, must turn on our taxi light because we're on Alpha 1. So what you're going to want to do is turn off your packs. Turn off your packs. And you're going to switch your right engine start switch to ignition right. And switch your switch to ground. And you will see your N2 rise. N2 is very rapidly rising. You ensure that everything looks good throughout the start. Once your N1 gets to about 1 or 2, you can introduce the fuel. There we go, and we'll give it fuel right here. And you will see the EGT rise. Fuel flow has risen. And there you go, you just started engine number 2. But you always want to keep an eye on it. I was just showing you, you know. You keep an eye on it the whole time. Oops. Okay, engine 2 is almost stabilized. Oil pressure has risen, oil temperature is rising. Oil pressure and quantity, hydraulics, everything looks fine to me. Alright, we're stabilized. We can switch the switch to left now. Switch our right to continuous, and then to the left, the same thing. And it's the exact same process for both engines. Now, do not leave this video right now just because you see that the engines are started. You will mess up your flight. There's a few more things that are crucial to the whole flight. Give it fuel early. Actually, if you do that, you can get a hot start and catch your engines on fire. I think the J-Roll-On CRJ200 does that. And engine number 2 is good. So, you can go ahead and set flaps to 1, 2, 5. Flaps are set to 5. You can do it with a button. on your joystick, which I have. That's good. Engines both are stabilized. We can set them to continuous. Now let's come to the overhead. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to turn the packs back to automatic, if you may. And you can switch your generator buses on for engines, on, and switch to engine bleeds, and turn off the APU bleed, and your duct pressure should drop and go back up. Duct pressure looks fine, and switch to generator 1, and you can turn the APU off. And voila! If you do this the way that I told you, you'll start your engines, and you'll be good. Now you can go in a taxi and take off, but I am going to leave you guys right here because I do not think you need a tutorial on how to take off. If you do, let me know in the comments below, and I will gladly do another tutorial on how to do all of it. If this video helped you, leave a thumbs up. If it didn't, well, let me know why in the comments below. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.